Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams, and I'm here with Bryan Connatser
Yep, I'm with Cardinal Financial.
with Cardinal Financial.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm here because part of the home buying process is the money part, right? And so I want for my clients to have a better understanding of what exactly that means for them. So right now, the news is rates are high, right? So
That's the elephant in the room.
it's the elephant in the room that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
So recently, rates have reached back to 23-year highs. We're just over 8% on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage for someone with great credit. So are rates high? Well, they're higher, right? My first two houses I bought, they were both over 8%. One was 1997, one was in 2000. But we've been in a really low or a really good interest rate environment basically for the last 20 years. But that's the only piece of bad news, right? The piece of good news is right now, sellers are looking for home buyers, right? They're being willing to negotiate. They're willing to help pitch in for closing cost assistance. You're able to get them to work with you better on home repairs that are needed. And even in many cases, we've got several loans that we're working with right now where the sellers have offered to do a 2-1 buy down. And let's talk about 2-1 buy down real quick, just so that that's understood.
Yeah, what is a 2-1 buy down?
So let's say today the rate is say 8.25. Okay, the seller is going to pay the interest cost for the first year and the second year. That's the 2 and the 1. The first year is the second 2-1 buy down. So you're 2% lower in the first year of a 2-1 buy down. Okay, and then you're 1% lower than the current market in the second year of the 2-1 buy down. And the seller is basically paying the closing costs, paying the interest on that difference of payment between the 8.25 and 6.25, and then the second year and 7.25. I've got a client that I'm working with right now buying a $425,000 house, and the sellers basically gave her like $9,841 to buy down her payment. And in year number one, her payment is $460 a month less expensive than it would be at the current market rates. And that's a lot of money. So even in second year, when it pops up a little bit, it'll be $230 a month, more than it was in year one, but less than it would be at our current market rates. Okay, so why is that a good deal? Well, because rates are high. We believe market conditions are shifting in the favor of rates getting back into some level of normalcy. And we believe over the next 12 to 18 months, we could see rates that are 2% or more lower than where we are right now, which means we would just take that loan and we would refinance it out of the 2-1 buy down into a longer term fixed rate that would be comfortable for them, over the life of the loan.
That's great news. So I want to reiterate because some of us maybe haven't been in the market before for buying, right? So just even even as near as 1 year ago, you would never hear of a seller offering something like this.
Right.
You would not hear about that. You probably weren't going to get repairs. You were not going to get money to close. So the fact that right now in this market, you can buy a house, find one, and the sellers may be willing to do a 2-1 buy down, that's a big deal.
It really is.
That's free money for the buyer. It allows you to have more money in your pocket without you having to pay the 2-1 buy down. So that's
a big deal.
Big deal.
Yeah, and you're right. Even just a year ago, sellers were not even considering that. You might have even been in a multiple offer situation. So you might have been offering a little bit over list price, and that's not anything you're having to do right now. So that there is the whole marry the home, date the rate. That's a cliche that we've been throwing around now for about 16 months, and it's true though. Get that home. So let's talk about that real quick. Why this is a big deal, even with rates where they're at now. In the year 2000, have you ever heard the saying, time in the market is better than trying to time the market? Okay.
Yes.
Well, in the year 2000 to the end of 2009, that decade, okay, it returned 66% appreciation on home values that were set as of January 1, 2000. In the 2010s, so from 2010 to 2019, it returned 46% appreciation. So is somebody going to live in one home for 20 years? No, probably not. I mean, some do, right? But the key is you win by just being in the market. Because in the early 2000s, when the whole decade that produced 66% appreciation, that the rates were in the eights. I mean, I bought in that when the houses were in the eights and the rates were in the eights. So right now, the 2023 in North Texas specifically, the appreciation rate is tracking this year at 7.3%. So let's say you're buying a $400,000 house and it appreciates 7% between this year and next year. That's $28,000 worth of appreciation that you just won because you went ahead and bought the house before waiting on the rates to come down. The difference is if you wait, rates may be lower next year, but the house that you can buy for $400,000 this year is going to be $428,000 next year.
Or more, because people are in competition, so they're going to have to pay.
Yeah.
They're bidding more. So you're going to be in a bidding war.
And another reason not to wait, okay, is when we were at the lows in interest rates, every 1% rate that went up, the buyer's buying power was diminished by 13%. Okay, so as rates have gone from 3 to 8, that's 13% times 5. So that's 5 segments of clients that had pre-approval at a level that they wanted to buy at that currently may not qualify to buy a home because the rates have gone up and priced them out. So the math on that's been given to us by the National Association of Realtors is that for every 1% rates drop from where they're at right now, that's going to be adding 5 million more potential home buyers back into the market that you're going to have to compete against if you wait for rates to come down.
In other words, don't fool yourself into believing that you're the only one that's waiting.
Absolutely. It's going to flood. If rates come down 2%, that's 10 million more potential buyers that have just been back into their qualified level, and you're more than likely going to have to be in competition with them. So back to multiple offers, back to sellers not helping with closing costs.
No 2-1 buy down there.
Right. So marry the house and date the rate. Okay. So anything else on that?
I think I just want to recircle on the 2-1 buy down. You mentioned earlier that you can refinance at any time. So, I mean, is that specific to certain lenders, or is that usual in the 2-1 buy down?
It's in the 2-1 buy down. There is no restriction. Let's say they buy a house this month, and in December rates drop to 5.5. Dude, refinance in December or January. Don't wait.
That's great news. You're not going to be paying the higher interest rate now. You're going to save money, keep money in your pocket because the seller's paying for this, and you get the house you want.
Exactly. Absolutely. So you want to talk about down payment?
Let's talk about down payment.
Okay. So some people have bought homes before and they may not have this knowledge, but really this topic that we're coming to is really for the first-time home buyer. The folks that may want to buy a home but think that they don't have enough money on hand to do it. Okay. So did you know you can buy a house if you're a first-time home buyer with only 3% down? So if it's a $400,000 house and you've got $12,000 as a down payment, you have the ability to buy a home. Okay. Also, we have down payment assistance programs that can help out, whether we're doing a conventional loan or an FHA loan. Okay.
Bryan, is that specific to first-time home buyers?
No, it's not. Actually, you don't have to be a first-time home buyer to be able to qualify for a down payment assistance program. They have credit and income limits and caps that we have to take into consideration, but more folks than they would think actually could qualify for one of the down payment assistance programs.
Now, is there a group of people that would pay 0% down?
Yeah, actually, so if you're a veteran of our armed forces, VA loans, they do not require a down payment at all, and there's no PMI. So your monthly payments, actually, and VA loans have some of the lowest rates that you'll have, comparatively speaking, to any of the other loan types. So you get the lowest rates out there, 0% down, and no monthly PMI. You've got the lowest and best possible monthly payment that you could possibly get your hands on. There is one other segment of client that does not have to put a down payment down.
Who's that?
The USDA rural housing buyers.
Oh.
So if you are interested in buying in the country or a little further out, there may be the eligibility for you on that. The home has to qualify, and then the client also has to qualify, and there are credit score and income limits on the USDA home program, but it is a 0% down loan program that is available even now.
So that's for any of those of us who maybe are dreaming about buying land and then having a dog sanctuary or something like that, right?
Yeah, if you want to have chickens or goats and you want to move out and you can't do that in a neighborhood, that's what the USDA loan is there for.
Or maybe you're feeling too close to your neighbors. You want some space.
Yep. Just if you have any questions about any of these, call Jessica or me, or reach out to us. Ask questions on the posting page, and we'll respond back to you really quickly. But what about home people that maybe even currently own a home right now?
Yeah, so some people have went through the buying process before. What is different for them? What can they expect?
Well, let's talk about the rates again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the rates do change the dynamic of that next home purchase, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, like I said, we're sitting here telling you it is a good time to buy, and it is, but you just need to be fully educated. So the first step you would want to do is to make sure that you understand what the realistic value of your home would be, and if you put it on the market, what would it sell for, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you would come in. Reach out to Jessica, let her do a CMA, let her give you that comfortable value so you can have an idea of what you'll be netting when that house does close. The second piece of that is reaching out to someone like me, a licensed mortgage professional, been doing it for 29 years, so I can help, and finding out when you do sell, and what's your vision for what that next purchase is going to be. Are you moving up? Are you moving down? What the cost going to look like? So if you bought a $500,000 house, 3 years ago, and the rates are 3%, and you're thinking you want to buy a $750,000 house now because your family's grown, your income has grown. Again, it's a great time to do that, but the dynamics are going to be completely different because interest rates are 5% higher than they were 18 months ago, right? So getting that education up front is of paramount importance because then it can make you comfortable about the entire process of selling your home, knowing what that loan is going to look like whenever you go to make an offer on that next home. And when you have that education, it's a warm blanket of comfort. It's education, it's empowerment, and it's comfortability. There is no shoe that'll drop, right? There's no piece of bad news that you're going to get. And I have seen clients come to me who put their house on the market to sell. They have this vision for what they're wanting to go buy, and when I run numbers for them at the price point that they're talking about, it literally is shocking to them. Now, they usually don't not do it, right? I've got a client even right now, I talked to her yesterday. She's been watching the rates go up, but they've got their house on the market, but initially I pre-approved them to go buy before they put their house on the market. And when they saw what the difference in cost is going to look like on the home with the rates being different, they decided to sell before they're going to buy. That's a decision because they got the education. That's a decision that may be right for them. That had they done it the way they thought they were going to do, is like just put their house on the market, get it sold, and then go buy, right? They needed that education. They needed that knowledge of what the total payment is going to look like and what your total cash at close would look like on the new purchase, even before they put their house on the market.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is make sure that you're partnered up with the right lender, one that's going to think your plan through and help you get to where you want to be. And obviously the right realtor, one that's going to price that home that you want to sell correctly so that it can sell swiftly, and that knows how to, or knows that you can have a lease back. You don't have to move right out. You don't have to do two moves. So partnerships and education are very important for a home buyer, whether you're new or returning to the market.
Correct. And every client consultation that we do on the mortgage side, we take a look at your financial picture. We hear what your vision is for what the home buyers are wanting to do. And so I've got a client right now as a perfect example. She came in, she said, I'm buying a house, $400,000. It's actually $440. Prepared to put 10% down, which is $44,000. And she has the money to do it, and she qualifies with everything looking the way that it did. But one proposal I went back to her with is she's actually got a vehicle loan that's got a $22,000, a little over $22,000 balance on it, and her payment is $760 a month on that SUV. Okay, so what I said, I showed her the option, and she jumped all over it. Is back your down payment on the house off to 5%, and that frees up $22,000. I mean, literally the math was perfect to go pay off that vehicle loan. Her house payment went up but just over $130 a month because she's putting less money down, but paid off the $760 a month truck payment. So her monthly budget just got lower by $630 a month.
Wow.
So we look at all facets of every picture to make sure that our clients, your clients, are as well positioned as they possibly could be.
That's wonderful news for her, I'm sure.
Like, she was elated. She's like, I didn't even think about that. I was focused on the home purchase. I made my vision, made my plan, and she said, and just a little wrinkle in the game, gave me a lot more breathing room.
And here's the thing: you as a home buyer don't have to think of these things.
Right.
That's why Bryan is here. That's why I'm here.
Exactly.
We're going to help you through this home purchase and to get you where you need to be and still have money in your pocket and not feel that stretch in your wallet.
So let's continue on the topic of like things that people that are in the market that may be looking to get in, that may be looking to sell. One term that I hear, and I understand it, and I want to help everybody else understand it, is when you hear the median home price is rising or the median home price is going down, that actually doesn't mean that homes are selling for less. That doesn't mean that homes are selling for more if the median home price is going up. What it means is the median home price is right here. And if the median home price is rising, that means more homes above that price are selling right now, which is pulling the median home price up. The inverse is also true. So if you hear the median home price is lowering, that doesn't mean home price or home values are going down. It only means that there are more homes in the price ranges under the median home price that are selling. Therefore, it's slightly dropping the median home price. So it's not an average home price. It's not an indication of appreciation, home values skyrocketing or home values falling. Okay, that's very important to know because the news talks about median home price, and recently they were talking about home prices going down, the median home price going down, and so I've had clients going, "Hey, if the market's going to go down, I'm going to wait." No, the average home is not, the value is not going down. They're still selling for more than they did last year. So make sure you understand median home price, and if you have any questions about that, please reach out to Jessica or myself as well.
And that takes me back to high school algebra. We learned those words then. We just didn't know when we were going to apply them.
Well, then again, at 53, high school algebra was a long time ago. I don't remember any of that. So the last piece we want to talk about as to why not to wait is, I'm at 53. I bought my first house in 1997. My wife and I have now purchased 10 homes. I've refinanced every single one of those homes. Even when I bought with good interest rates and the rates got better, we refinanced every single one of those homes except for the one we bought earlier this year. The rates were still high then, and they're higher now. But that's the reason, right? We have. You want your rate to be lower, but rates, again, I've been doing this for 29 years. This is my fourth wave of seeing rates go up and come back down, go up and come back down. They're going to come back down. They always do. They will not stay at or above 8 for very much longer. We really don't believe. And we believe that they'll definitely get into the 6s, and the prediction is that they may even get into the upper or mid 5% ranges over the next year and a half by the end of 2024. So don't let the rates intimidate you from making an offer and buying a house now. That's when you date the rate and marry the home.
Yes, even when I was buying my house, which I've only bought the one, I felt like I was kicking myself, like, why didn't I do this 5 years ago? Why didn't I do this 5 years ago? That was true even before the rates were higher, because the prices are not going to go down.
No, especially not here in North Texas. Again, I lived through the dot-com bubble. That was the last time that I saw prices in North Texas actually see a dip. And it wasn't a heavy dip, but you had all those companies in telecom that were either going bankrupt or being bought out and being moved out of North Texas. But I'm talking, that was the year 2001, 2002. Since then, North Texas has been one of the most insulated markets for home value protection. And even in the Great Recession. In the Great Recession, you did not see home values in North Texas retrace much at all, and most of them didn't retrace any at all. They may have stagnated for a few years, but it didn't go backwards. And if it did, it was on a case-by-case basis, and somebody may have needed to get out. Somebody may have needed to make a move and may have been slightly, highly leveraged, because a lot of loans back then didn't require any down payment, right? So in those cases, they may have been selling for less than what they could have. But buying a home is literally one of the most important investments you could make. Just don't wait. Don't lose out on that appreciation year over year. Don't let the rates keep you out of the market.
For more information, or for more from us, follow us, like us, and
ask questions. Reach out to us. You want to leave your mobile number, or you want to tell them what it is? Or
my phone number is 469-450-5898.
And my mobile number is 214-893-8979. Please do not hesitate. There are no bad questions.
Send us your questions.
The only bad question is the one not asked, because again, education is empowerment, and we want you fully educated.
Thank you, Bryan.
Yep. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great weekend.